I walked in on my dad and one of my best friends having sex, don't know what to do. Apologies if this is kind of all over the place, I'm still trying to sort out all of my feelings. My dad raised me as a single parent, and he's pretty much the greatest dad in the universe. He's my best friend, and we do everything together, hobbies, you name it. He's always the one I go to for advice/to vent. Very approachable, kind-hearted, understanding, open-minded. Anyway, TLDR, he's awesome. While I was growing up, he had a few short relationships but nothing that lasted more than a month or two. He always told me that I was the only girl for him, but TBH I think he never really got over my mom, died from complications in childbirth. My friend Jess, not real name, is also one of my best friends. We met at university and have been very close for years, always had each other's backs, always been 100% honest with each other. I'm not currently in a relationship, but if I was ever to get married, I'd always thought Jess would be my mo. So anyway, this past weekend, now that quarantine is winding down, Canada, I brought 3 friends up to our family cottage for the weekend while the weather is still good and because we're anticipating having to go back into social distancing mode once schools reopen. The same weekend, my dad and his cousin, who share ownership of the cottage with a third cousin, were also up there fishing. It was actually a total coincidence that we were up at the same time, didn't know we would be till this past Thursday. It's a really big cottage though, so no biggie, there's tons of room for everyone, dad's grandparents were loaded. A good time was had by all until Saturday night when I woke up at like 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom, but noticed a light on downstairs, and heard people talking. Decided to go see what was up, only when I got to the kitchen, I was greeted with the sight of Jess riding my dad. I bleach please. I freaked out, and ran back to my room, and I was basically crying, I think. I'm not too sure TBH. A minute or two later, my dad came up to talk to me. Apparently they've been doing this for over a year. He said that she initiated it, which I do believe because Jess has always been a bit promiscuous if I'm being honest, and like I said, dad hasn't really been with too many women since mom died, and my friends always tell me my dad is attractive. He also said they've never done anything before when I was around, but they hadn't seen each other since quarantine started, so when they realized they would be up at the cottage at the same time, well, yeah. He told me he would put a stop to it if it made me too uncomfortable, but that he really likes her and the feeling is apparently mutual. I told him I would need some time to process things. I drove home myself Sunday morning, and I haven't spoken to him since. Jess has tried to reach out, but I've been too weirded out to respond. I think I find it especially weird because Jess and I look very similar. To the point that we're frequently mistaken for sisters. My other 2 friends who were there have no idea what happened that night, and they're also looking for answers, but I haven't said anything to them about it. I don't know what to think about all of this. My dad and Jess are basically my 2 favorite people, and they do have a lot of interests in common. I'm also realizing in retrospect that my dad has seemed happier this past year than he has in a while, and that Jess hasn't been involved with any other guys the whole time, which is unusual for her. I know the age gap is big, but ideally I would like them both to be happy, but at the same time it's just... I just really feel weird AF and kind of gross about the whole thing. Please help. Edit to all the people asking if it's possible my dad is attracted to Jess because she looks like my mom. I dug out some old photos of my mom that I haven't looked at in years, and, wow. I never made the connection because they have completely different hair, but yes. Jess is the spitting image of my mother. She looks more like my mom than I do. In the meantime, I've told both of them I want a few days to myself before I see either of them, and they're both very understanding. Both have also independently told me how sorry they are and that they will stop seeing each other. I will make an update post once I've had a chance to talk to each one in person. Thank you all for the well wishes.